break this Christmas. Just adults, no kids. His voice echoed through the group chat. Everyone laughed. Except me. I typed, "Sure, makes sense." Hit send. Close the app. Then I turned to my twins, both clutching their crayons, drawing Santa on printer paper, because we couldn't afford wrapping paper this year. "Santa still comes," I whispered. They smiled like I hadn't just been erased from the holiday. December 24th. Silence. No calls. No carolers. No clinking dishes in the background. Just the hum of our radiator and the squeak of dollar store slippers on laminate floors. Then a ping. Live now. Harper Family Christmas Bash Christmas tree wrap gift. I clicked. And there they were. My dad. My mom. My siblings. My nieces. Even my cousin's ex, the one who stole grandma's jewelry once. Laughter. Decorations. A snowman-themed photo booth. The table was full of gifts. And then I saw them. My sister's boyfriend's nephews. Barely 3 years old. Running around in matching pajamas. Holding candy canes. No kids, huh? I looked at the corner of my living room, where I'd carefully wrapped a $9,800 designer espresso machine for my parents. Saved for months. Used bonus checks. Planned every detail. I took a photo of it. No caption. Just the shimmer of the silver ribbon. Then I sent it. With one line. "Looks like you already have enough people." 40 minutes later. A knock. I opened the door. And there he stood. No coat. No smile. No crowd behind him. Just my father. His voice cracked. "Can I come in?" "My name is Delaney Brooks. And if you think this ends with an apology, stay tuned. What happens when the child you left off the list becomes the only one who remembers the receipt?" He stepped in like the cold was chasing him. Didn't look around. Didn't ask about the twins. Just stared at the gift on the floor. Wrapped. Untouched. Still waiting to be delivered. "The espresso machine?" he asked quietly. I nodded. "I saved for it," I said. "Even skipped my own birthday dinner." He sat down like someone had pulled the strings from his back. Then, "Your mom didn't mean—" I cut him off with a raised eyebrow. He stopped. The twins peeked from the hallway, wide-eyed. He smiled at them like nothing had happened. They didn't smile back. "You said no kids," I said softly. "But your house was full." He rubbed his hands together. "That wasn't my call. But the shout in the group chat, that was." He didn't respond. So I handed him a cup of cocoa. The cheap kind. No marshmallows. No cinnamon sticks like Mom makes. He held it anyway. "I came to apologize." "No, you came because the gift didn't show up." He looked at the box again. Wrapped with precision. Labeled in cursive. I had even matched the ribbon to their dining room wallpaper. I leaned against the wall. You know what it feels like? To see strangers in Santa hats in my spot. To watch someone else's kid open my stocking. He looked down. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. "You can still take it," I said, pointing at the box. "But just know you won't be getting me with it." He didn't move. Silence filled the space between us. Not tension, clarity. My twins came forward. One of them handed him a drawing. Stick figures. One labeled Mom. Another Grandpa. With a red X over it. His hand shook. I said nothing. Because I didn't need to anymore. The next morning, the group chat was busy again. Not with Merry Christmas texts. Not with photos of gifts or leftover pies. Just one message from Mom. "Dad told me what happened. Come by, we saved you a plate." Then another from my sister. "Can we talk? The kids miss their cousins." I didn't reply. Because here's the thing about silence. Once you stop explaining yourself, people finally hear the echo of their own actions. I spent that morning with the twins. We made cinnamon toast. Watched cartoons with bad animation. Danced in pajamas that didn't match. And for once, I wasn't trying to prove we were enough. We just were. At noon, another ping. This time, a private message from my brother. "Hey, I know the espresso machine didn't show up. Is everything okay? Mom's been crying." I stared at that sentence. She cried? Where was that when my kids asked why Santa didn't come to our side of the family? I didn't answer. Instead, I opened the cabinet, pulled out the gift, carefully unwrapped it, unboxed it, set it up on my own counter. The chrome finish gleamed under our flickering kitchen light. The machine purred to life. I made the first cup, perfect crema on top, steaming warmth in my hands. Then I posted a photo on my story. Looks like we do belong somewhere after all. No names, no tagging, just a quiet reclaiming. Within minutes, replies flooded in. Friends, old classmates, single moms I hadn't talked to in years. They don't deserve you. This hit me hard. Family isn't always DNA. That night, I got another knock at the door. This time, my brother, holding a wrapped box, looking gun-sure. He handed it to me. I know it doesn't fix anything, he said, but I should have said something. I should have noticed. I opened it. Inside, a framed photo. Us as kids. In the snow. No filters. No edits. Just joy. And written on the back, if I had to choose again, I'd pick you first. 3 days later, a new message hit the family chat. This time from Mom. We're planning a small dinner this weekend. Just the original 5. Let's reset. No drama. The original 5. Not counting the kids. Not counting me. I stared at the word reset, as if pain was just a file you could delete. But I didn't reply. I just kept reading as the conversation built around me. Aunt Linda heart reacted. My cousin offered to bring dessert. My sister sent a Pinterest link for table decorations. No one tagged me. No one asked if I'd be there. And yet, when Saturday arrived, I was already prepared. I got a babysitter, put on the burgundy wrap dress that Mom once called too formal, tied my curls back, and slipped something into my purse before heading out. The house was glowing. Warm lights, expensive plates, laughter rising like it always did. Without me, I walked in mid-toast. Dad stopped mid-sentence. Everyone turned. My sister blinked. Mom's eyes narrowed just slightly. Delaney, she said, as if testing the sound of it. You didn't RSVP. I know, I said, placing my purse on the chair. But I figured I owed it to myself to stop being invisible. I didn't wait for their fake apologies. Didn't wait for a seat. I reached into my purse and pulled out the thing they'd forgotten. The family group photo, taken last Christmas. Blown up, framed, signed at the bottom in gold, featuring everyone but us. I leaned it against the wall, right behind the dessert table. Just so you all remember, I said calmly, what exclusion actually looks like. No one moved. Not even the wind dared to pass. I looked at the table. So perfectly set. So easily pretending. Then I turned toward the door. I didn't come here for closure, I said. I came here to return the silence. I walked out before they could respond. And when I closed that door, it didn't echo. It sealed. The photo wasn't meant to go viral. But by morning, it had over 41,000 smiling at a table, with an empty chair in the corner, and gold letters burned at the bottom, featuring everyone but us. Someone from the dinner had posted it. I hadn't even noticed the phone pointed in. The silence in this picture is louder than words. Why does this feel like my life? If you've ever been the extra, this one's for you. By noon, podcasts were discussing it. By evening, someone tagged me. That's how I found out it was my cousin who posted it. The same cousin who had gone along with the no kids rule. The same one who let her dog attend the Christmas party, but not her own godchildren. She messaged me. I had to. They needed to see it. I didn't say your name, but I wanted them to feel it. And suddenly the power shifted. The family chat froze. No replies. No guilt-laced excuses. No emojis. Just silence. Then my brother sent a text. You good? 2 words. Simple. But finally, aimed at me. I replied. Better than I've ever been. And it was true. Because for once, I wasn't explaining my absence. I was being missed. Later that night, I got an email from a magazine editor in Chicago. We're doing a feature on family rejection. Would you be willing to write something? I stared at the screen, then looked over at my twins. Asleep, arms flopped over each other like tangled roots. I opened a blank document and began. My family taught me that silence is louder than love. So I answered with something they couldn't ignore. The article went live on a Wednesday. By Thursday morning, it had 2.1 million views. Titled simply, "The Year I Wasn't Invited." I didn't hold back. I wrote about the couch I slept on while the guest house went to my sister. About the text that said, "No kids this year." About my father's knock and what came after. I never named them, but they recognized themselves. And so did thousands of strangers. My inbox overflowed. I thought I was alone. You put words to a silence I've lived with for years. Thank you for saying what we couldn't. For once, my story wasn't just mine. It became a mirror. A week later, I received a message request from someone I hadn't heard from in months. Mom. Just her name. No profile photo. No emojis this time. I opened it. We read the article. You made us look like monsters. Then, can we meet? Privately. I stared at the screen, then clicked ignore. Because here's what they still didn't understand. This was never about revenge. It was about removal. Removal from the pain, from the begging, from the performance of belonging. That night, I posted a follow-up. Forgiveness isn't always a door you open. Sometimes it's a wall you finish building. I added a photo of my twins, holding Coco, smiling in handmade scarves. No Christmas tree behind them, just books and soft blankets. They are. It was the first week of January when they showed up. No warning, no text, just a knock. Through the peephole, I saw them all. Mom, Dad, my sister, even Aunt Linda, bundled in coats, eyes low, hands full of boxes. I opened the door, just enough for cold air to sneak in. No one spoke at first. Then Mom stepped forward. We brought gifts, she said. Belated ones. For the kids. She held out a bag. Glittery. Heavy. I didn't take it. I thought we were taking a break, I said softly. Her face flickered. I didn't mean, but you did. I glanced down at the kids, standing behind me, quiet as shadows. You meant it enough to plan a party without them. You meant it enough to let everyone else come, but not us. My dad tried. We made a mistake. No, I said. You made a choice. A mistake is forgetting to wrap a gift. You chose to make your grandchildren invisible. Silence. Then my sister, the same one who posted matching pajama pics online, stepped forward with a wrapped box. I got them tablets, she said. They have books, I replied. A long breath. She lowered the box. Dad tried again. We didn't know it hurt that much. That made me smile, not kindly. You knew. You just didn't care. Not until other people saw it. The door stayed half open. Mom looked down, then up. Can we come in? I shook my head gently. No. They stood frozen, stunned. Like kids outside a classroom they weren't allowed to enter. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't cry. Didn't ask why. I just said, you taught me that family is earned, that love is conditional, and that being quiet was safer than being honest. Their eyes filled. I nodded once. Now I'm teaching my kids something different. Then I closed the door and locked it. Spring came quietly. No grand apologies. No letters. Just a silence I no longer feared. The twins thrived. One won a poetry contest. The other started planting seeds in mason jars, whispering to them like friends. Our home, small, rented, secondhand furniture, felt like the safest palace in the world. Then one morning the doorbell rang. But it wasn't them. It was a delivery. A thick envelope. No return address. Inside, a certificate. Delaney Ray, official contributor to the National Archive of Modern Voices. My article, The year I wasn't invited had been chosen for permanent preservation, not for the views, not cultural document, a reflection of thousands who'd been made small and finally stood tall. I stared at the certificate, then at my name printed in bold. Delaney Ray. Not extra. Not just the single mom. Not the one who stayed home. Me. Later that week, my daughter asked, "Will Grandma ever come back?" I crouched beside her. "I don't know," I said gently. "But if she does, what would you say?" She thought for a moment, then whispered, "I'd ask her why she forgot us." I hugged her tighter than ever. That night, I made one last post. A photo of the certificate next to a framed crayon drawing for my son. The caption? "We weren't the extras. We were the main story. Thanks for finally noticing." No anger. No hashtags. Just peace. Because revenge doesn't always look like slamming doors or shouting back. Sometimes it's living better, quieter, braver, and letting your name, not your pain, be the thing